'Cause I'm happy, clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Hey, all right. We're going to get happy today, folks. And first of all, we have to understand what happiness is. I think we all have that kind of that surface level. Happy is when I feel good. Happy seems to be, and especially when I was growing up, I thought that happiness was the absence of sadness. That happiness was the absence of stress, that it was the absence of fear, that when these things were missing, that's when happiness was. It was the absence of these things. And that worked when I was a kid, and it was still works with my kids. Yesterday, my son was sad, and he was angry, and he was afraid. He was feeling a lot of things. He was having a really hard day. I bought him chips, and he was just contentedly munching on his chips, and all of that just went away. And I looked at that with wonder, and I thought, oh, for the days when a bag of Lay's would get me there. As I get older and as I deal with adulthood and as I deal with loss and grief and the stress of responsibility and the stress of task management and the stress of looking out for people who rely on me and the fear of failure, and not just the fear, but the reality of failure. Like I've experienced my failures, the reality of loss. As I deal with the sadness that comes from not being who I want to be or how I want to be all the time, of, in a very human way, falling short. I've realized that I can't wait to be happy. You know, if I wait for the absence of fear, if I wait for the absence of sadness, if I wait for the absence of stress to be happy, then what I get is these little slivers that are very, very rare. And I've spent years in a place of being kind of miserable and still finding pockets of joy, you know, in helping people or in creating things or in loving and being loved. But life is hard and the world is nasty and adulthood is heavy. And I found myself a lot looking at old yearbooks, watching old videos, looking at old pictures, listening to songs from when I was a teenager, playing video games from when I was a kid, doing things that would help me kind of tap into that nostalgia. Like, I think the power of nostalgia is, for a lot of us, it takes us to a simpler time, you know? Doing a lot of these things, trying to capture that happy feeling again, because whatever happiness I have now, it's not carefree happiness. Like my carefree days are, I don't know if they're behind me completely. Hopefully there's more ahead of me, but they're definitely not now. And I think a lot of you can relate to that. And I realize that if I wait to be carefree, to be happy, then I'll never be happy. People compare happiness to sugar, right? Like to sweetness and to... And I look at what sugar does, for example, and I'm not thinking about it the way modern nutritionists think of sugar as all the negative things. I'm thinking of sugar the way like the way grandma thinks of sugar, the way Mary Poppins thinks of sugar. A spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. And happiness now for me is not the absence of the negative. It's being able to find the positive no matter what's going on. Happiness is choosing to enjoy life, choosing to find enjoyment, find fun, find things to be grateful for, so that I can feel that positive vibe. It's doing things that I know make me feel good. And happiness is not vice. And when I say vice, I mean things that are pleasurable but run against your values or run contrary to your values, because those types of things are addictive, but they usually make you feel worse in the long run. That's not happiness. But happiness is that feeling of positivity. And we can find it no matter what's going on around us. We can find that happiness and joy. And that's what it is. Let's talk about in our next video how to get there, how to move towards it.